Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Burial Brewing Company out of Asheville, North Carolina. This beer is called Innertube. I'm assuming it's called that because you're supposed to, there's a ton of lakes in North Carolina, so you're supposed to drink this beer while hanging out on the lake in an inner tube, which makes sense because it's only 3.5 ABV, so it's definitely a session all-day type beer. Just called Innertube Lager beer. Like I said, it's 3.5, so it's not supposed to be anything crazy, but it's supposed to just be a nice, clean craft lager. Crack it open and see what we got. Now, I had this at the brewery, but by the time I had it, my palate was admittedly pretty destroyed, so I liked it then because it was a nice refresher from all the other crazy stuff I had been drinking, but now I'm curious to drink this on a fresh palate. Let's see what we got. I mean, as you can see, it looks, I will say, everything always looks darker in the camera than it does to me in person. But even in the camera, this looks really, really light. And it is, I mean, it's even lighter from my perspective. Like down here at the bottom, I can see it looks like it's almost clear, which is, I mean, it basically looks like Coors Light. So, I mean, if that's what you're trying to replicate, then they did a good job on the appearance for sure. Yeah, I mean, it pours a very, very light straw color with a small white head. It is staying around a little bit, which is nice. Sorry, I just got a really, really funny text from my friend. That's why I stopped. Yeah, and there's this constant bubbles coming out, but I don't think that's from the beer specifically. I think, if I remember correctly, that's how these new glares, there's etching at the bottom of this that causes that to happen. So, well, it does smell like a craft. I hate the generic term craft, but like a crafted lager, because there is some nice grainy character to it. But it does have a little bit of a corn note too, which I think they did actually use corn in this to try to keep it true to the style. But there actually is a little bit of like a noble hop Pilsner character to it too. So it does taste really similar to what I remembered it tasting like. It is a little on the sweet side. It's a little bready. Bready. It almost has like that popcorn taste too, which is kind of weird. But it does have a really nice light, floral, earthy, noble hop presence that, you know, makes you be able to tell that you're drinking something that is more refined than the macro stuff. But even so, like, I was just looking in my fridge. I have some of the Founder's Solid Gold in there. And even that, like, that's better than those, but this is even significantly more refined than that, in my opinion. It's super, super clean. I don't think there's any off flavors. I mean, the only thing, you know, that what I would say negative about it is the flavor doesn't really stand out a ton, but that's not what it's meant. I mean, that's not what this beer is meant to do. It's supposed to be a competitor to, like, you know, the macro light beers, but be way better. And I will say, in that point, they definitely hit the nail on the head. In the other great thing about this I mean, it's not quite as cheap as the macro beers, but it's still actually not that far away, because those are not that cheap anymore, really. But this was only $9 for a 6-pack, so it was, yeah, $1.50 a can, which, in my opinion, is, I don't really care what the alcohol is. If it's a nice, refreshing beer that I like drinking and it's $1.50, that's definitely a pretty good deal. So, I honestly can't think of one thing to complain about this beer. If you go into it looking at it in the sense of what it's supposed to be and what it's advertised as, then I can't see why you would complain about it. And that's why I bought it, because I knew what I was expecting to get, and I got it. So, in my scale of buy, drink, dump, this is definitely a buy. At $9 a 6-pack, I mean, come on. And again, I think the name is perfect. It's a really easy drinking light lager. It would be great for camping, tailgating. I mean, it's one of those things that I usually say that no beer is refreshing, or almost no beer is refreshing to me. Like, if I'm thirsty, I would rather drink a glass of water and then drink beer. Not, but this is one of the few that I feel actually is refreshing. Or at least as refreshing as beer can get. Yeah. It's really odd too. One note I will mention about this one. There's several places that got it around me, and I'm in North Carolina, but I'm still about 2 hours from Asheville. And there's several places around that got it, so I don't think it's hard to get or rare that they distribute in this area. Which, I mean, why would this beer be like that anyways? They obviously can make a crap ton of this. But I saw 2 specific places say for in-house consumption only. Which, I mean, maybe that means that they only got a little bit, but I know, like, both of those places, I've seen them only get a little bit of other things, and they didn't say that. So why in the heck would they make this for in-house consumption only when it's, like, the most basic beer that any place like that would sell? I thought it was very, very, very strange. I have no idea why. There might be some weird shtick behind it. I don't know, but I just figured I'd add that note in here because I thought it was a really odd thing about this beer. So, yeah, that's all I got for this one. Another really solid beer from Burial. Please like, comment, subscribe. Excuse me. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.